Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of my Hardcore Minecraft series. Today we're starting above the clouds because we finally have enough rockets. And you might be wondering, how did I get all that gunpowder for those rockets? Well, let me show you. So it's coming into view now, so let's see how it was built. It might not be the prettiest build, but it's definitely functional for what I need it right now. I can either take it down in the future, or I can make it look a lot nicer. But as you can see, it is very effective. So using my sharpness 5, looting 3 mending sword, I can get as much gunpowder as I need. I might eventually set up some campfires in here so it's automatic, but it's a good bit of XP as well, plus I get the looting effect. So it's pumping out the gunpowder really quick, so I can start now moving to rocket 3 flight duration instead of the 1 or the 2 that I tested. So this will make everything much easier for me. So just a couple minutes in this little thing, and we've got our gunpowder flowing in. So let's just take a look at the inside. So you can see in here, lots of bats have spawned, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers of this creeper farm. I got our anti-spider carpets, and then the trapdoors to not let any of the skeletons or zombies spawn, only the creepers because they are a little bit short. We got our spawn-proofing buttons here, and then our trapdoors to trick them into falling into our collection pit, which takes them down here to where we can get some creepers. So this is my way of getting all my gunpowder that I'll need for my rockets and maybe even a bit of TNT in the future. But now that we're better prepared for flying around and getting all these builds done, there's one more farm that I thought I would need pretty soon, and that is here in the Nether. So let's get to building it. Now with the help of these firework rockets, I no longer have to take the long trip up like I did whilst making it, because I made it before. Uh-oh. Oh. Looks like I didn't spawn-proof down here quite well enough. We got a little zombie piglin down here, making a bit of a mess. But we've got a couple that accidentally triggered. But if we head up here, we're supposed to stand right here in the center, and then it's supposed to trigger all of the pigmen around. So let's take a little aerial view of here and see how effective it is just for standing still, not doing anything. Now this farm doesn't give me any experience because I'm not killing them myself, but that's not what I really need this one for. If I need XP, I'll go down and make an Enderman farm. This one is mostly for the gold. And speaking of gold, let's go check out the drops. So just a couple seconds of that. I cleared this out beforehand. I've got my little bit of a auto dropper here, getting rid of all this rotten flesh into a lava cauldron. So as you can see, if I stand too close, it'll start giving them to me, but otherwise it's dropping them right away. I've connected all of them into this kind of pathway here, which is making gold blocks. I got 2 auto crafters. We can maybe hop over here. I guess it's easier to show in free cam. We got a little bit of a sorting system here, similar to the ones I'm using in my chest sorting system. So once the thing in one of these hoppers, so once we get a bit of gold, it sends a signal and tells it to let it through. So it depowers this, letting a gold ingot through here. So it moves down the line. And then the same over here with nuggets. And then the nuggets, when they come through here, they craft up into an ingot, which also goes into this crafter, which when this one's full, because that is testing from back here, you can slide down here, we've got these item frames, which are pushing out a signal strength when it is equal to this. So once this has all 9 spots full, then it's going to let this power through and allow it to craft once. This little bit here on the side is just a little bit extra, so if you get any of, looks like it's a little bit clogged up from little breaks, if you get any of the armor or like a gold sword, it'll come through here, get smelted by my blast furnace, turn it into ingots, or nuggets per se, and add to here, creating a little bit better. I've had a couple problems. If you have too many rotten flesh coming through, it can sometimes skip over my first sorting system, which sends it to my dropper, and that's why it's coming over here. So I might need to set up another dropper because I have such a high concentration coming through. But then I've got this little auto dropper here. So what happens is once something enters my dropper, it sends a signal, which then powers itself and causes it to drop. So then it just does it automatically. So it only works if you have something coming through in a steady stream. So it's stuck here until we get another one. So if I were to toss these up here, nothing's going to happen because it needs to be very slow. As you can see, it's trying to drop it, but it looks like something is wrong with my redstone, like usual. So if we toss these up here, there we go. And then there's nothing in here. So the nice thing about these hoppers, it only allows it one at a time, but because I have multiple hopper streams, if they go in from this one and this one at the same time, then this one will have 2, it'll jump up to 43, and then it'll cause things to get clogged. So maybe if I put it all in one long line, that might fix my problem I have there. So have them all going into here, so have this one go into that one, so it's just a singular line allowing one item at a time to flow through. But the proper way to activate this is actually you're supposed to shoot one, but I guess they're still mad at me. So you're supposed to just shoot any of the ones on the outside, and that should trigger the hostile nature of all these guys. And then we have a bunch of minecarts, 24 to be exact, so that once they land in here, they start getting crushed by entity cramming. So that there's never more than one in here. So that kills all of them because you can only have 24 entities in one place at a time. So you can see it is very effective. If I wanted to, I could just go AFK, make sure my saturation's at max, maybe put my chest plate on just in case one of them somehow jumps over or something. But this has been a great way of collecting gold for my next project, which is piglin bartering. So down here on the surface of the nether roof, I've started placing some netherrack so I can maybe spawn in some of the piglins. I think that's what they're called. We've got the zombified piglins, and then the regular piglins, the ones that you can do the bartering with. I tried to get some through a hole in the nether roof, which I created back here. I just did a simple piston and TNT trick, and I got rid of the one piece. This is actually where I came through on the nether roof when I first got my portal. But I had the problem with I couldn't get him to come up this way. So I looked online and it says if you place netherrack on the nether roof, it allows them to spawn. So I don't know if I have too many spawns up there, but it's not letting them through over on these. So I've placed 2 in 2 different biomes to see if that was the problem, and now I've just got to wait for them to spawn so I can name tag them and toss them in a bartering farm below my kind of gold farm here. So then I can have infinite of everything that comes from that. So that's things like the blackstone, which I'm definitely going to need because gathering it in the nether for my spire build has taken a lot of time, and this would be just much faster. So if I ever get one to spawn, I'll start prepping my, I guess the piglin bartering farm down there. Alright, looks like I found my final nether biome, which is actually the one I'm looking for, which is a crimson forest. So I looked online and it suggested doing your platform in the nether for the crimson forest in order to get your piglin spawns. So I'm going to place down a bit of netherrack. I collect a little bit and we'll see if that works. So I'm going to probably go AFK after placing all this in, see if I can get that, and then we can work on the bartering farm. Alright, looks like we got our first friend. I went back to get some blocks to do some AFKing up high, but just being away long enough worked. So we're going to try and grab this guy. So we're going to start off with just the one. I got 3 name tags, brought my anvil just in case. And we can start off small and then always bring more, so it's easy to grab enough. I'll research the optimal amount later, but we're going to try flying with this guy. So let's go into F5. And immediately broke. Okay, so I was going too fast or can't do it, so I'm just going to slowly drag him. His sword actually is fire aspect. He took a little bit of damage off me. But this is going to be our first friend of our bartering farm. So let's get him back, name him up, and then trap him so we can start building the farm. Finally. Oh my god, this is like the 7th slime chunk I have mined out. I really need these slime balls. Thank you very much. Oh, this shall do me for a little bit. But now I know that this is an actual slime chunk. Just needed to wait a little bit longer. I guess building out all of these worked. I shall mark that off. So it is this one. Because down here we had the first 3 I did over there. Let's actually check, see if anything spawned in the meantime, because I spent a bunch of time spawn proofing all the caves in the area. Still nothing in this one. And then I moved to this one, nothing. And then I did this one, nothing. Then that one, and I started some more down further, but looks like we have our slime chunk. So I started prepping for doing multiple layers. So this is something I can do for a farm later on, but 38 slime balls, that should be enough for the materials I need. Alright, I've gathered up most of the materials needed for making a bartering system, so let's get to building it. Alright, it's basically all complete now. First thing I gotta do here is I'm going to put my first piglin in. I've used name tags even though I could use carved pumpkins, so probably the rest will do that. But if we do this, he's gonna chase after me. Nope, okay. I'm gonna eat quickly. This guy's hitting a lot harder. For some reason he wasn't going into the cart. No, doesn't want to go in. Maybe I have to push it against him. Let's heal up and then see if I can get him into it. Can I use the... No. Alright, I've trapped him in here. So maybe now... Is he gonna go in here? Is he not? Okay, let's maybe make another cart. See if I can throw it in there. And... Ugh, he was too low health. Alright, I guess I'm gonna have to go get some new ones, and I'll come up with a better system of capturing them. Alright, I spent a bit of time getting my pigmen, probably an hour or so AFKing with a bunch of boats, dragged them over here with my leads slowly, and I got a couple into minecarts all ready to go. So I'm gonna move this one. We can start. I don't have enough. Uh-oh. Block. Alright, I guess I'm going to need... How many more? Let's, I guess, make some more. There we go. Some sticks. And... rails. Okay, I made way too many. There we go. Okay, now I gotta figure out how to get them moving. So we're gonna put on my diamond chest plate, just so I have extra protection against these guys. Let's check up here, make sure I've got the right amount of rails. Alright, let's grab one more block. So now they should go into here, one by one. Oh, okay, that works. Let's make sure another one doesn't come up quite yet. We're hopping up here. F3B, and then I'm gonna try and remove the cart. There we go, okay. And then we throw a pumpkin. Okay, there we go, so he won't despawn now. And now we just do this until we're done. Alright, we're on to the last one of the ones we've captured. I've removed them from the boats, slowly put them in, killed quite a few by accident, so I had to get a couple more. But I think we're ready to start placing our last guy in here. So if I... right there... So we're gonna use this, try and not hit him, okay, and drop him in. They've all got their pumpkins to keep them from despawning. Now if I go like this, and let's grab a slab over top, and then we can start removing this. I can maybe grab, yep, the excess pumpkins and my carts. Don't want that in there. I still have to organize all this with all the sorting, but we should be good to start trading with these guys, and then I can use those items. They'll just go straight into these, and I can use that to start setting up my organization. Alright, so how this system kind of works, you come up to here. I'm going to turn this off so the timer starts going again, but anything that's in these gets brought down really quickly through these, and then once we get past, you'll hear it, it sends a bunch of the gold into here, and you can hear them, they're already starting to trade. So if we hop over here, you can see stuff is already starting to go into these hoppers. So don't want gold. Looks like we got some gravel, fire charges. So it'll just be anything. So I'm going to start placing in my things that won't be going. So we want like that. And then I'm gonna have to start organizing of what I want in each of these. Looks like it's dropped some of the gold, interesting. So after it gets sorted, it'll start going into these. So I'm going to start organizing these based on what I want in each of them. Alright, so here we are, all organized together. So I've got these item frames all set up. So my blackstone, gravel, arrows, quartz, iron, nuggets, ender pearls, bricks, soul sand, string, crying obsidian. This is regular obsidian. This will be leather. And we got all the different potions and water. I think these are overflows for that. And then in here we got the splash potion ones, and then soul speeds. And then we're also getting these dried ghasts. So this is definitely something I'll probably play around with in the next episode. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a like and subscribe for more episodes coming soon. Until next time.